Hello, this is Faithful to Race Across the World, where we are discussing Series 5. It's one of those ones. Episode 5.
Oh.
It's like ABBA.
It's like
the word ABBA. You can say it any way around and it makes sense.
a palindrome, some might call it.
Well, I call them an ABBA, but you know.
An ABBA.
Series 5, Episode 5.
I don't know if that name is trademarked. I hope it's not, or else we're going to be paying a lot of money for that.
That's fine.
Don't sue us, Bjorn. Or Benny.
It's fine, we've got Carolyn's solicitors on site.
We got who? Yes, we do have Caroline's solicitors.
So they're actually more expensive than ABBA.
They're on our books
Bjorn's.
now, so we can say whatever we want. We can be as liable as we like. And they'll be like, Caroline, get your solicitors on us.
Right, my name is Ben and I am co-host of Faithful 2... Who are you?
God, you're so pretentious, aren't you? Faithful ... Hello, I'm Alex. I'm also co-host of Faithful 2... On this occasion, it's Faithful 2 Race Across the World. Thought I'd do it Anadex style. Yeah, I wish we had a set like that. That would be amazing. Imagine if we had like a set in the treetops of like...
What for?
Yeah.
Well, if it was for this show, for Race Across the World Extra Baggage on iPlayer and BBC Three, we're pitching it for next year.
Come on,
this
BBC.
is what it would be like. The set would be the back of a bus, probably, wouldn't it?
It'd be a bus.
And we'd
which
have a fake rumble where we're doing this.
We have to do this while we're doing the podcast. So, whoop, speed bump. And every now and then you hear a and we can have Brian going, turn your horn off! Every 5 seconds.
I don't blame Brian for that, because that man was having well time on the night bus.
I mean, sleep is precious in this game, and I suppose if you have an opportunity to go on, to quote Brian, a first-class bus without the knife and fork, the food, the pillow, the television, the air conditioning, the alcohol. I mean, he was complaining a lot, but there was a guy, he was handing out bottles of water.
Exactly.
I mean, that's part of the ticket price.
Not everyone gets to turn left on the planes, Brian. So
I mean, Brian was flexing a little bit there, I feel. I wonder if he insisted
Melvin's never turned left.
He will now, if they've won. But yeah, I did like the way that Brian was like, this is just like a first-class cabin, apart from, and then reeled off a 2-minute list of why it's not like a first-class cabin. Hey, you know what? You can get in touch with us. You can find us on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok by going to @Faithful2Podcast. Blue Sky @Faithful2podcast.bsky.social, YouTube @Social2Podcast, or search Faithful 2 Race Across the World. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, and comment underneath the video. You can also watch us and comment on Spotify, or listen to us on Apple, any of your favourite podcast apps. If you do, don't forget to give us a 5-star review. And if you enjoy the podcast, you can help with the show monetarily by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful. Just like
Alex's favourite breed of dog, Beagle, bought us tickets.
A beagle? An actual beagle?
Yeah, I think so.
That's my impression of a beagle, everyone.
Yes. Helps our budget. We're on 25% budget at the moment, and we've got weeks left.
All beagles do is stand their tail to attention and then look a bit dumbfounded and go, ooh! Everything. Have you ever seen that video on TikTok of the beagle?
He drops his toy.
Yes. And then he sits there looking at it and goes, no! Anyway, sorry.
Right, so Beagle has said from Buy Me a Coffee.
Thank you, Beagle.
This season is the best yet, and I'm really enjoying it. The teams are wonderful, although I do have my favourites, although they're not saying. Your podcast is great and is nothing less than enhances the programme.
Extra baggage.
BBC
come
Sounds. We'll take BBC Sounds.
Official podcast.
You've got a great handle on what is going on, and your interpretation is both funny and great. I may be biased, but I do remain faithful, and I just want to support your weekly show.
Thank you very much, Beagle. And as I said, you're already my favourite comment of all time because of your name. The best dogs ever.
Maybe Beagle has a Beagle. Right, speaking of us trying to blag a show to be contracted by Studio Lambert
Beagle is a
BBC.
Beagle. Carry on.
Extra Baggage. This is the type of stuff that you would get if we were hosting Extra Baggage, okay? So, contestant Caroline, do you know her?
I think I vaguely know Caroline, yeah.
She came 5th once, and then she came 4th, and then she came 3rd, and then she came 2nd, and then she came 1st. Well, she's been very busy.
She always comes first.
That's the most important.
Yes.
They've been booked and busy, Caroline and Tom. haven't they? Because they were on this Morning Live last week.
Morning Live last week with Gethin. Yeah.
She was interviewed in magazines, in horse magazines, about her time.
Was she? What, Horse and Country magazine?
Oh, God. Good Housekeeping. I don't know what it was. It was a magazine interviewed. Now they're on Loose Women.
Loose Women?
On the actual panel.
Don't forget Brian and Melvin are also on Loose Women.
In Loose Women.
And we believe that Brian may be having a secret affair with a loose woman.
Colleen
Nolan.
So they're really booked, busy, right?
Allegedly. Sorry, I should...
Caroline and Tom, this is.
Caroline, we need your lawyers.
Caroline has sent us a message just to let us know just how busy they
Is this
are.
for realsies?
Oh, this is called Caroline's message.
Why do you keep these things quiet from me?
So this is how busy they're being, okay?
Every night. No sleep. Bus. Club. Another club. Another club. Plane. Next place. No sleep. No fear. Nobody believed in me.
Caroline. Although her voice did sound suspiciously like someone else. But Caroline, so busy.
That's how busy they are.
Do you think
So.
this was really a thing of the early 2000s? But remember when Big Brother celebrities or Howard from the Halifax advert,
Right.
when in order to make a little extra money from their very short-lived fame, they would go to Jumpin' Jack's nightclub. Or Jumpin' Jacks. Does anyone remember Did you have Jumpin' Jacks in your town? We did. Or just a kind of a cheesy nightclub, and they would go as they're here for one night only, and they would literally just sit.
Butlins.
Butlins are still a thing.
That guy from Hollyoaks / X Factor was at a camp near us once, wasn't he? What was his name? Tattoos. Sure, I don't know what his name was.
From
He had dark
Hollyoaks?
hair.
Oh,
and
Jake
he did Dancing
Crickenden.
on Ice. No, Ray Quinn.
Oh, Ray Quinn.
He was turning up at a.
He wasn't on
thingy near
Hollyoaks.
us.
He was in Brookside.
He was in Hollyoaks too.
Was he in Brookside
Yes,
and Hollyoaks?
he did the racist storyline where he
Oh,
was racist.
I remember. Yes. And the guy's dad, who was racist, died by falling off the cliff or something.
All right, spoilers.
Oh, come on! It was about 10. No one watches.
Well, anyway,
Hollyoaks. No one
that's
cares.
the type of thing that he was doing one day at whatever it was, that holiday camp, wasn't he?
We could do tours around Butlins for the right price. Might bump into
could.
Stephen Mulhern.
No, thank you.
What's wrong with Stephen Mulhern?
It's not a fan.
Not a fan.
No,
You don't
he
like
does
his
too many things.
Ricky Gervais humour.
No.
Him and
Anyway, what were you getting at? Your point is,
Well, it's just that's a Caroline and
Oh, you think they're
Tom
what?
could do
Caroline's
that.
got her 5 minutes of fame.
No, Caroline's famous forever. When we were watching her on, obviously Tom was there too. I noticed on social media you said Caroline on Loose Women, leaving Tom out. I thought that's not very nice.
I said Caroline is a loose woman. Tom,
Allegedly,
I can't say that about Tom, can I? Well, I could, but I didn't.
Tom might be loose.
But I wasn't. I wasn't ignoring Tom's time on the show.
Tom's looseness.
He was good on the show.
I think
He opened
Caroline, when we saw Caroline,
He was actually looser than Caroline, actually. So he was a loose woman too.
Caroline was
he
telling a
opened
very
up.
interesting story. We found something out about Caroline.
Yeah,
We
she
still-
drives trucks. She's a common old truck driver.
She's a truck driver. She's there. She's I like trucking and I like to truck, and she's tooting her horn and when
Spitting out the window.
with chewing
cap
tobacco, a stick of straw coming out of her mouth. And when they asked her why did you apply for your HGV license, her reply was
Common as much.
take my horses.
Well, I've got to go across the country.
Got to drive my horses about
with my ponies.
yes,
Award-winning.
award-winning ponies.
Oh yeah, Denise Welch was like, yes.
Well, no,
Well
Denise,
done.
Denise Welch started talking about some reality show that she was doing when she had to learn her HGV license. And I was
Going
what
trucking,
reality-
but it got cancelled.
It got cancelled before, and Caroline's bring that back. It's an extra-
Hosted, yeah, she'll take that. as her
hosted
own
by
show.
Caroline. She could do a reality show. Truck Off, it would be called.
She could do one a bit like, remember Nikki Graham got a TV show where she had to do jobs because she was not used to working.
She's no Nikki Graham.
No,
Nikki
but she's the opposite. She does
she likes getting her hands dirty,
Yeah.
as we saw in today's episode. Look the way I've drawn this back around circle. Because Caroline and Tom were really mucking in at the elephant sanctuary.
Well, Caroline was.
Tom was too. Why do you have this thing about Tom?
No, I don't. I'm just saying she was doing all of it. And he was pushing the
I
barrel.
can imagine you if you went to Tom and Caroline's house.
Manor. House.
House. Their castle. If you went to their castle, and I can imagine you just sat there with Caroline and bossing Tom around. It's like, Tom, come get us some cheesy niblets, please. And Caroline's then you just laughing with your brandy and your cigar.
Well, she did all the work.
Tom helped.
No, he did help. But she was she was quicker.
But Caroline's probably quicker because she has she used to run farms. or she had a family of farmers, and so she knows how to get stuck in. And so she knows she's not afraid. She doesn't shy away from a bit of hard work. And she showed that when she was picking up the elephant poo, and pointed out that I just love Caroline, cracks me up.
She's like Liz Earle.
Liz Earle?
Yes,
Lizzo?
like Liz Earle. Not Lizzo, no, Liz Earle.
Why Liz Earle?
Because she knew that the digestive wasn't very good.
Wasn't very well
done. What they're eating.
No, she's like, what's the fake doctor from You Are What You Eat? The one who kept fainting on I'm a Celebrity.
Oh, yeah. Gillian McKeith.
Yeah, that's who she is.
Inspecting the poo.
If I poo in a box and send it to Caroline, do you think she'll be able to tell me what's wrong with me? Caroline, I've sent you a box of poo. What's wrong with me?
Terrible digestive, very fast digestion. So it's easy to pick up and put away in the barrel.
You can still see the fibres. Not very well digested.
Educational. What I will say about leg 5 of this is that it is the cutting point where it's either pushed contestants to be worldy travellers, or it's done the opposite and really tested people's strengths and weaknesses. Whereas we've seen Tom, Brian, Melvin and Carolyn, I feel they have
Caroline.
Sorry. Yes. We have
her lawyers on the phone.
Loose woman. We have really seen like them change. I've noticed a big change in all of them. This episode,
Those 4.
India either breaks you or makes you, and they have thrived in the
really
travelling.
have. They're having a great time
Travelling.
as well.
They're having a good time. They're not stressed. They're working. They're always moving. Bus, club, another club, train. They're
Celebrity
doing well.
appearances.
Yes.
Caroline flew back to the UK, did a loose swim, came back and then helped Tom out in the elephant
on the
sanctuary.
elephants. And then we had Finn Shoned and Elizabeth and Letitia on the other end of the spectrum, where I feel India slightly may have disorientated / broken / crushed them a little bit.
In Elizabeth and Letitia's case, and this isn't any disrespect to them, as we say before we do any of these shows, like everything we say we base it on what we've seen on the show, but I just feel like they haven't got the heart. They're not into this, really. Let's be honest, they're not.
I mean, I said last week there's something there between these two sisters, and we keep learning like little bits, but they're not really. The producers and the TV crew are waiting for them to have their chat, their moment.
Yeah, because they keep hinting at it.
Yeah, it keeps not happening.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, where did they go? It was the where did they go?
Taj Mahal.
The Taj Mahal. If you're going to the Taj,
where did they go? Where's that place? That really famous Princess Diana took a photo there.
Like if you're going to the Taj Mahal,
The Hague,
and that isn't enough to make you open up and have a chat on camera, then I'm worried that we're never going to get there this series. I don't think there's enough episodes. And Elizabeth wants to, but I feel like there's something with Letitia where she's still holding back.
Quite a bit cold, old Letitia. She doesn't want to open up.
But why? I haven't got enough. I don't even have enough information to guess what's happening.
I feel like there's something that's going to come out.
There's
Some
something.
big revelation is about to come out. Like again, we learned a bit more about Brian and Melvin's childhood.
Yes.
We said last episode we need to know more about the mum.
Yes.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating stuff. And this time we learned that Brian and Melvin were smacked as children.
Yes. Didn't enjoy boarding school, and like the place where
Brian liked boarding school more than being at home because it was just such a horrible environment being at home.
But also what was it, like the hostel that they went to reminded them of school, which triggered lots of things in Brian.
Yeah.
Doesn't like weeding either. But
that's fine. I get him on that. 100% I'm with Brian on gardening.
And it's interesting because you learn like, he has a wife, has kids, and he wanted to bring his kids up like the opposite way that he was brought up.
Break the chain, which you hear a lot, don't you? It's like you have to break the chain if you want this to stop. This family, because he was saying like his mum was abused as well.
And she carried it on.
She carried it down the line.
But then Melvin did the opposite, where he kind of didn't have a family.
Yeah.
Didn't
want children
because he didn't want to carry it on.
Because he was afraid that perhaps he would continue the train. So
you're learning lots.
Yeah, interesting.
All very serious, interesting. But then with
Brian makes me cry every time as well. I want to make this clear. Every time Brian gets emotional on screen, I cry.
I think Brian's breaking.
About Brian.
He's breaking your chain.
Brian is. I don't know. Brian's got that real emotional. And I just honestly, something about Brian, he just always hits me in the feels every time.
I think you see yourself within that family.
Right, carry on.
I don't know.
Where are you going with this? Where are you going with this, Letitia?
Just saying.
Shall we open up on the podcast?
No, I'm not ready. Not ready. On episode 5, it's too early.
Take me to the Taj Mahal. We're going to talk about
Or
it.
the Elephant Sanctuary. I'd like to
the
go
Elephant
there.
Sanctuary, so we can look at the unfibered poo. But yes, Elizabeth
Next
and
week
Letitia.
on Extra Baggage, we're going to be joining Tom and Caroline at the Elephant Sanctuary.
That'd be good.
There you go, it's a segment. But yeah, Elizabeth and Letitia, they're not... I say they. I'm going to not blame Letitia, but I'm going to say Letitia's not opening up enough. And what's it going to take? You got the Taj Mahal. And like we learned,
You got the Taj Mahal.
we learned like there's 2 more siblings. Letitia's the Malcolm in the middle. She's the middle
third one.
the forgotten, which you are if you're the third one. So I understand Letitia there. And it's like, what made Elizabeth and Letitia apply this together? Because it doesn't seem like they have a relationship. It doesn't seem they're particularly friendly. They don't seem to know each other's jokes. But there's 2 other siblings.
Yeah,
it's
because Letitia told Elizabeth off for fake laughing. Like as
like,
they
is that
panned
what
away
you're
from,
laughing?
it's like,
Sounds like.
Why are you laughing? Stop laughing.
Never heard you laugh before.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, how come
What's joy?
they didn't apply for the show with another sibling? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's gone on here?
Well, they had said
to
at the
know.
top of the series that they had a close relationship. Then Elizabeth went off to Italy, and Letitia was kept left behind.
We keep hearing about the house.
The house
that was
the
lost.
house that got lost because their parents lost the job. There has to be something. There has to be something that they're keeping. The production are keeping. They're massaging. They're using it later. They're growing the anticipation.
Maybe
for
next
this
week
breakdown.
because they're in the mountains now.
Yes.
Maybe next week will be the week where Letitia breaks.
I don't know, because when they were showing not that I like to talk about like the trailer for the next episode, but even then it was a bit like they were both being like all standoffish, like, well, what do we do now? But do you know what I mean? It's like they don't have like Finn and Shoned, despite them, especially Shoned having real trouble this episode. Everything was very overwhelming for her.
Which I understand. If I was there, completely. I would be doing the same as her.
Oh, entirely. But I would be Finn, and I would care for you, and I would find the wrong tuk-tuk, and then end up somewhere we're not meant to be.
It's okay. But this is where it, like her breakdowns actually, in a weird way, in a backwards way, is a good thing. Because at the beginning of this, it was her doing everything, and he was just kind of there with his shorts, looking pretty. That was his job. Now she's having a breakdown. Now that she's having a breakdown, well, he's stepped up. Yeah. He's booked the wrong tuk-tuk to the wrong location, but
he tried,
and he was there comforting her all the time. Yeah. He gave a girl a biscuit. That made her cry.
I mean, I'm with Shoned on that one as well. The poverty, the extreme poverty between rich and poor in India is insane. And to have that little girl just standing, looking at you. Oh man, honestly, I was meant to say to you. Actually,
that came out of his diabetes budget as well. So
he was willing to have a spike for that biscuit.
Everything was heightened for Shoned. Like the busyness, everything going wrong, the culture shock. All hits her. It was in the busiest place on earth.
Yes, unfortunately, with 20 million people around her. Yeah. It was just sensory overload, and it was
Horns,
just too much
traffic,
for her. Yeah.
Dirt, dust, smells, everything.
People yelling at her, people tooting their horn. When she was doing that bit to camera, and she was like trying to talk, and the camera, and they just had this long, and she was just like, "What's the point in that?" And I was like, again, with you, Shoned, 100%.
Same, and they do seem to be like the bad luck of Yin and Gaz seems to have transferred over to them now.
Moved over to them
because like they didn't plan anything particularly different to say Tom and Caroline, who were just sailing through on their buses and trains all the way up at the mountains.
They lucked out every time. Every time they went to the bus station, there's a bus in 10 minutes. There's a bus in 10 minutes.
Now.
Yeah.
Oh, we're actually a bus is waiting for you, actually. Yeah. So yeah, and then Finn and Shoned turn up.
A private bus for you, Tom and Caroline.
Finn and Shoned turn up, and they're like, "Oh no, there's not one for like 3 days." It's like, "Oh, okay, great."
They really did. I half expected.
Can I go to the bus station? Yep, here's the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Everything went wrong for them, and it was a shame.
And poor Finn, because he wanted it to go right because Shoned was so upset, and the fact that it just kept going wrong just made everything feel worse.
The problem is he was trying so hard that
all he wanted to do was get out of that place.
Yeah, he kept making mistakes, but he did comfort her. He could have just kind of gone like, "Go pull your socks up, Shoned," and he didn't. And Shoned like had her fingers in her ear. She was going la 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 la, trying to get all this kind of noise around her out of her head.
And when things did go right, he farted. So. On the bus.
Yes. But they did have that lovely homestay as well. The food looked delicious. Oh my god. When she was serving the food, and this is this, and this is this, and this is dal, and this is, oh my goodness. Honestly, I would have eaten the hell out of that dish. And then Finn was like, "More plain rice, please." Like his plate was just toppled with plain rice.
Plain rice and chicken.
Well, it did make me think. I wonder if Finn and Shoned, I suppose, were used to like this very spicy, hot food, living in the valleys.
Yeah, true. They felt at home. The second they got out of the city and into the mountains, they were home again.
The spiciest thing they had in Wales is mint sauce.
Yeah, cosmopolitan valleys that they were in. But I wouldn't risk anything spicy. We've discussed this on the other episodes. When you're travelling for 30 days.
True.
With no toilets and a train that's full up. No. But plain rice and chicken.
You have to eat. And that food did look really good. Honestly, when I was watching them serve it, I was like, oh, I'd eat that. I want to stay at that homestead. I'd literally just want to fly there.
I want to go to the elephant place. That was the best place, I think.
I feel like a missed opportunity with the elephant place was that they could have had Caroline riding an elephant and going, yeehaw!
She was busy doing all the work, wasn't she?
Picking up the shit.
Tom was going around riding the elephants.
Caroline was going around riding broomsticks.
Well, yes.
Chase you.
Mum, are you drunk? I'm not sure. Never seen you sober, so we don't know.
I mean, it's a perpetual... No, Caroline, we don't believe
it's in the blood. So what were Brian and Melvin? They did their homestay, they did the weeding. They had a pretty easygoing trip as well.
They had an easy trip as well, yeah. That's what I mean. Brian and Melvin and Tom and Caroline seemed to have... It just seemed to work for them. It was just one after transport, then a job, then transport, then a job, homestead. It was very smooth sailing for them. Elizabeth and Letitia, surprisingly, just considering they spent 2 days at the Taj Mahal location.
So when the episode was on, it was a bit like they weren't really going anywhere. Like when they showed the map, everyone else was like all the way northeast and they were like still down. But they were doing something different than everyone else. They were doing the train system.
Well, that train,
which was a risk.
God, yeah,
one that pays off.
It paid off, but when the announcer said like it's a very convoluted system, but they never said anything about it, I was like, what do you mean convoluted? What, it's difficult because the language barrier?
And then the train turned up.
And then the trains turned up, and then I realised how convoluted it is. So you have to get a plain, basic, standard ticket
where there may not be a space for you.
There may not be a space, but you can choose to upgrade, but you have to ask for it when you're on the train.
Yeah, you have to get on first and then ask for the upgrade, which is empty because it's like 5 times the price of the ticket. Like the ticket was £2.
Yeah, I was going to say upgrade, 5 times 2 is not a lot. It was £9.
Yeah, the upgrade was £9. So like it's a big increase, but worth it. And they just got on there, and then that was them. They were all the way up.
Yeah, they just went straight to it. So okay, I guess they worked the right system. But did you know what I mean with like what I said earlier about like it's like Finn and Shoned feel like they're like, despite their hurdles, they desperately want to do well on the show. Tom and Caroline and Brian and Melvin, there feels like there's a competitiveness between them two teams now, which I like.
Yes, especially Brian and Carolyn.
What are you insinuating?
Nothing.
Do you reckon Caroline's getting secret like?
No, I'm just saying like
Mum, where are you?
No,
don't say anything, Brian.
No, I'm not playing these.
Seeing.
No. Brian was saying how he knows there's a spark in Carolyn, twinkle in her eye. She wants to win, and she'll do anything to get it, including pushing Tom out of the way.
Into an elephant.
Friendly elephants. I was wanting to tell you about that story, but I said, I love elephants. They're the most intelligent and they're kindest. There's a really funny story about an elephant that crushed a woman to death.
Hilarious. Carry on.
It is hilarious because she was I think she was like part of a hunting, and she killed an elephant as part of a thing, and the elephant saw it, witnessed the woman. He then found the woman and crushed her. Fair enough. Yeah. Then during her funeral, this is how petty the elephants are.
I love a petty elephant.
The elephant turned up to the funeral and then tried to crush the coffin.
I love the elephant.
So elephants never forget. And then there's another video of like someone handing an elephant a melon, and he really gently breaks the melon, really gently picks it up with his trunk and eats it. And it's like, well,
he's like,
yeah, and it's like, well, that was how obvious and blatant was that? So
you just reminded me. There's an episode.
Great story about how intelligent elephants are, and they're petty,
and spiteful, and petty, and that makes me love elephants more.
Never forget
what an elephant
crushed her coffin. You hurt my friend.
Good. I'm glad that elephant. I can just imagine this elephant. It's like Peggy Mitchell's like. You killed Den! This elephant comes storming down. A murderer! Yeah.
So that's a really funny story. Look it up online if you can, because it makes me laugh.
No, I will. I'm going to look that up when I get back. When I get back, I'm when I turn a corner in the house.
So I like the elephant bits. That was the best bits.
No, the elephants are so adorable. They're beautiful creatures.
The ending then, times and things. Carolyn and Tom first. They've crept up.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Mm-hmm. Brian and Melvin second, and then Elizabeth and Letitia were third.
Shockingly third. And Finn and Shoned are, at the time of them talking to that homestead, 12 hours from the checkpoint.
Yeah, they thought it was really close, but it wasn't.
But they also had the bus driver who was taking them to the checkpoint, showed them a photograph, said, "Oh, hang on, I saw some other white people recently," and then showed them a picture of Brian and Melvin going. And they said, "Oh, when was that taken? 2 days ago."
Yeah, 2 days.
So I'm worried. I am worried for Finn and Shoned.
Plus, their budget's really low.
Their budget's really low.
35%, I think.
It's the lowest of them all.
I think Brian and Melvin have like 50 still.
Tom and Caroline, this is the other thing. Tom and Caroline and Brian and Melvin have both got a really healthy budget. Elizabeth
and they
Letitia's
keep working.
Not so much. And they keep working. I wonder if they'll knock out another team before the end.
No. Unless they get really behind, then they have
That's
to,
what I'm thinking. I wonder if there's like a rule that if you're like 48 hours behind, that's 2 days. There's no way you can catch up.
Well, I don't know. Like
That's
with Brian and Melvin, they said because they did that one thing wrong, they lost 20 hours pretty much. And Finn and Shoned were really behind because they missed that bus. It was like, so it was just one mistake and it can end up
That's true.
a day behind.
Brian and Melvin or Tom and Caroline indeed could both make a big mistake in the next leg. But again, from the trail that they showed for the next episode, it looks like they're having a whale of a time.
Well, they found their stride now.
They have found their stride.
The two teams in first and second have found what works. They found how to book, how to get on things, how to work.
And they're good teams, but they work well together. Tom and Caroline work really well together.
Yeah,
and
Tom just follows what she says.
No, not just that. Not just that. To be fair, like Tom, I mean, you saying that, it obviously was that Tom, when they auditioned for the show, Tom was like, "That's fine, I'll look after you."
Yeah,
Mum.
I'm the traveller.
I can do stuff. And it has turned a little bit. It has to be said that Caroline is the one who's taking the stick and kind of running with it.
Well, I love that though.
No, I you know my opinions on Tom and Caroline. Tom and Caroline are. I am going to be biased on this one. Are my favourites in this show, and I love Brian and Melvin as well. And I love the way that Brian genuinely destroys me every time he like talks to the camera about his like family or him in his relationship with Melvin. And I love Shoned and Finn as well. I love them all.
Letitia and Elizabeth.
I do love Letitia and
I want to.
Elizabeth, sorry, elephants on the brain. That wasn't a Freudian slip. That was an accident. Elizabeth.
And Letitia.
I'm going to get so much hate this episode.
That's fine.
I've accused Brian and Caroline having an affair. I've called Elizabeth. Elizabeth and Letitia are great, but they just don't feel like they have the heart of the show. Like they're not. I don't know. Something has to happen with them two to make me kind of like want to
understand them
and also follow them and want them to kind of like do well. But at the moment, I want everyone to do well, but I particularly want Tom and Caroline to win. I love Tom and Caroline so much. They crack me up.
Yeah. I love both of them in different ways.
Yes.
Brilliant. Wonderful. Right, okay, there you go then. So
our favourite loose women.
Yes, Tom.
Tom is
loosest,
my absolute favourite loose
woman.
The
loosest woman.
Well, I was going to say, genuinely, do you not think that, this has nothing to do with the show, but do you not think that Caroline has that kind of, you can see it, that on screen, like she could easily have
the X Factor.
Yeah, she could easily have like a Lorraine type show in the morning. I'd love to see Caroline doing
They just cut that, so that's not going to happen. She'll be on Morning Live doing a gardening segment in her farm.
Morning Live. But if anyone...
Here's how you shovel up horse poo.
This is how you know if you're fibre in your poo, it means you need more. If anyone wants to do a cut of Caroline with the Lorraine theme tune, then please do, because I'd enjoy that.
Right.
Anyway, coming on.
How sad. Anyway.
Dan Wootton going...
No, thank you.
Here's the side.
We don't need Dan Wootton. Right, that's enough. End of the episode.
Is this all we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We've run out of time, everyone. So, if you want to get in touch with us about
I better do some work,
about what you do like, what you don't like on the show. We had some comments, actually, I forgot, about last week.
Go on, do it.
We were talking about the left-right hand thing. Remember? Eating with your hand?
Yes. Oh, yes, because I asked, because I'm under the illusion whether I'm right or wrong. In the last episode, I said that you have one hand for eating and one hand for cleansing.
Well, we have someone here. They say, "Hi, I am Asian."
Is that their name?
No. The reason why people eat with the right hand is because with your left hand, it is associated with, quote, dirty tasks like wiping yourself when you go to toilet.
All right, Caroline.
So, when you go golly gosh. So it's considered better to eat with your right hand, but if Tom and Caroline wanted to eat with cutlery, then that would have been okay. My nieces all use cutlery when they visit, and people are okay with it because they understand that they're not used to it. And then someone else said, I came here to make this exact point as well. It also applies in Arabic countries and many places in Africa. I've also worked in Tanzania from time to time and was advised always to pass items to people using my right hand.
Oh, so oh my goodness.
As a left-hander, this all seemed a bit handist. But there is good reasons why the practice exists, particularly in countries where there are some very nasty infectious diseases, where soap isn't in supply. So there you go.
Hello, thank you very much.
Another example here of what our extra baggage show could consist of. BBC Sounds.
Yeah, BBC Sounds.
Just saying.
Yeah, Studio Lava.
They'll probably create it and just hire Carolyn to do it, though.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that.
No,
as long as Caroline asked us on the show every now and then, I'd be fine with that. But it won't be a Caroline; it'll be Ed Gamble. Because for some bizarre reason, if we've got a podcast, who should we get? Ed Gamble. It's always Ed Gamble, and it's weird, like artists. I love you, Ed Gamble. I'm sorry.
Right. So if you want to get in touch with us and have your comments read out in such a way, then. Have you done that? You haven't, have you?
Well,
if
Ed Gamble wants to get in touch and do the podcast for us, we're more than welcome to let you. Go to Instagram, TikTok, Threads at Faithful2Podcast, Blue Sky at Faithful2Podcast, YouTube, find us by searching Faithful2Podcast or Faithful2 Race Across the World podcast. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment. Don't forget to follow. I always forget. Subscribe. Please subscribe to us on YouTube. And Spotify. Subscribe to us on Spotify as well. You can also watch us, comment on there, Apple, listen to us on there or any of your favourite podcast apps. Give us a 5-star review if you like listening to the podcast as well. And if you want to help us by buying us a ticket, monetarily, if you want to help us buy us a ticket on the elephants.
Yes.
On the Dumbo ride at Super Mario World.
That's not quite culture.
No.
Carry on.
Buymeacoffee.com/faithful. You can find us on there, and you £5 buys us a ticket onto the train. And if you give us 2 tickets, we then upgrade to first class.
To seats.
Yeah, it's buymeacoffee.com/faithful.
Lovely, right. So we will see you all again next week for our next leg. Don't know where we're going next week. Back down India, probably, isn't it? Finn and Shoned probably have to go back through the bloody
where they've just been.
Yeah,
I know. I'm very
breakdown.
I'm very worried for Finn and Shoned
because she's done it once now. So when she goes back again, she'll realise I can do it.
The shell shock was no.
We'll see. So we'll see you next week. Goodbye.